These are 5 of the biggest car buying mistakes I see people make. Now, these are all mistakes that a lot of my clients made before they came to me for help. And I've had to work with them to get them out of their financial situation. I want to share them with you so you don't go through the same thing. Let's go. Now, the first mistake is not being flexible. Now, I grew up with a dad who was one of the top new BMW car salesmen. And back in that day, salesmen got loaner cars. So every other week, my dad would come home with the latest M series or Z3 or 7 series. And man, I was in heaven. And because of that experience, I really fell in love with Beamers. Now, later down the road, when I started to learn about finances, I realized that my dream cars weren't necessarily the best things to buy. I had to be flexible if I wanted to stay within my budget. And especially when I had kids, I really had to be flexible because there's just not as many options. Oh, it's kind of cold in here. People love their cars, and so do I. But the most important thing is that you get something that's reliable and that will take you from point A to point B. Especially if you're on a tight budget, you have to be open to something that's different and maybe less than ideal. Different makes, models, years, and colors. Something that fits your budget and no more than your budget. Cars are one of the biggest reasons people are living paycheck to paycheck. So don't be inflexible when it comes to car shopping. Now, most people don't know anything about cars. And I'm not talking about anything complicated like repairing a transmission or an engine. I'm talking about most people don't know how to change a tire. So it's not that surprising that most people also don't know how to find a good, reliable car. Most of the time, people have a situation that's come up. Maybe they had their car in the shop 3 or 4 times in the last several months and spent thousands of dollars. Or maybe they're just tired of their car and want something different. So they go to a dealership, talk to a salesman, and leave the lot very happy, but not knowing that they just put themselves in a financial bind. And this is because one of the biggest mistakes people make is that they didn't stick to the plan when they went to the lot. Most people actually do research before they go car shopping. 92% of people, in fact, do research before going. Now, the problem with this is that most people start researching online, but they actually finish their car purchase at a dealer. Now, that's not a problem, except you have very savvy, very good sales guys there who are trained to make you spend more money than you plan. Now, that's not a knock on salespeople because most people have good experience with their sales guy. But when you go into a dealer, you have to make sure you stick to the plan, and your sales guy has no concern about your plan. So after talking to a sales guy, over half of people that go into a dealership either end up buying a different car that's more expensive, or they get sold on additional warranty or service upgrades. So if you go into a dealership with the plan of getting a used Toyota and you end up buying a new BMW, well, then you probably didn't make the best financial decision. If you did your research on the front end, then you can't let anyone take you off your plan. But before we continue, if you like this content, please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so we'd appreciate it. Now that brings me to the next big mistake car buyers make, and that's they really didn't have a full plan to begin with. They only had half a plan, because the only thing they considered was the car payment. And there are a lot of expenses associated with owning a car that have nothing to do with the car payment. Let's take gas, for example. Most people know that you need to pay for gas, of course, but they don't consider the impact the new car is gonna have on their gas budget. If you're switching from a Honda Civic to a GT500 Mustang with a V8 engine, well, you're most likely gonna spend a lot more money on gas. So figure out what the miles per gallon is on the new car, how much do you drive on average per year, and figure out what it's gonna do to your budget. Car repairs is another one. Most people spend about $1,500 a year or $127 a month on car repairs. Now, it's very understandable that you may be annoyed that you have to spend $500 or $1,000 on repairs, but these are things that are completely predictable. You might not know when it's coming, but you do know that it's coming. A lot of people also want luxury cars, and they don't realize that luxury cars come with luxury maintenance and repair costs. You have to factor that in. Then you have car insurance. That's another $1,700 a year. Then you have license, registration, and taxes. That's another $800 a year. All of these things have to be estimated and factored in when buying another car. And almost no one does this, so they end up with very tight budgets, living paycheck to paycheck because of their cars. This is very avoidable if you just take a little bit more time and factor these issues in before you buy. The next mistake is buying or leasing a new car. And this is a mistake that 1/3 of people still make. Now, most people know that new cars drop in value like crazy, but they don't care because they get some stupid warranty. You can literally buy 2 or 3 used cars for the price of a new car. That's your warranty right there. Buy a white one, a black one, and a red one. If one breaks down, hop into the other one. For the vast majority of people, it's crazy to buy a new car. Now, in fairness, most people know that new cars go down in value, but they don't know exactly how much they go down in value. Most new cars lose 20% when you drive them off the lot and 50% over the first 3 years. So if you bought a $50,000 car, in 3 years, it's worth $25,000. Now, one of the issues with new cars is the fact that after your warranty period's up, you still are gonna have maintenance and repair costs, which most people who buy new cars don't factor in. So in addition to their high car payment, they also have these additional expenses. And many times when they try to get out from under their new car because they can't afford it anymore, they realize that they're underwater and they're stuck with it. Or at least they're still gonna have a payment after they get rid of it. Being underwater is not a fun position to be in. Now, personally, I don't care how nice a car is. I don't like losing this amount of money or being stuck with a car payment I don't want. Now that brings me to the 5th mistake people make, and that's not buying a car in cash. Now there's really no good reason to finance a car. The average interest rate on a used car is 12%. Now considering the typical loan amount of $26,000, that's over $3,000 in the first year. And that's not even considering paying for the actual car itself. That's just the interest. Now the average car payment for a used car is $525 a month, and for a new car, it's $734 a month. That's crazy. Car payments is one of the biggest issues I have when it comes to helping my clients get out of their financial situation. It really is a problem. I like cars too, but there's nothing that's gonna make me take out another car loan. I haven't had one in 20 years, and I don't ever plan on having a car loan again. It's really just not worth it. The best thing you can do is to save up and pay for your car cash, but it's kind of hard to do that when you don't have any money. So if you want some tips on how to save money fast, click on this video right here.